All right. So today we have a very interesting project into the shop. So this, as you can see, is a broken bicycle axle. It's used on the rear hub, and it's made out of 7000 series aluminum. Now this broke due to heavy use. I'm going to set this aside for a second. This broke due to heavy use, and it uses a 10 millimeter H7 surface for the bearing. And apparently somebody, before bringing it to me, tried to thread it for some reason. I have no idea why, but I'm going to see if it still fits on here. But as you can see, it's quite loose. I think that might be due to the threading, but we'll leave that aside. Now I'm going to put the bearing away since we don't need it now. But the main reason why it broke is that the hub comes with bolts, right? M6 thread, and it's internally threaded as well in here. Now the main problem is that this is quite a long bolt. As you can see, it goes past the shoulder where it supports against the bearing, but the bolts that he initially got were so short that they went in only halfways. So what this did is it created a stress point on the edge here. Now, because I didn't have any of the bearings and all the other stuff, I took some 12 millimeter aluminum round stock. This is 7000 series, and this is 2000 series aluminum, also called in Europe Duraluminium. But basically they are comparable in strength. The only advantage to 7000 series over the 2000 series is that this starts stress cracking long before the 7000 does. But because the lifespan of this part is less than a year anyways, it's not going to be a problem. So this lasted about 2 months. So this is the replacement that I did for him, did for the customer about a year ago, and it's still, I actually made 2 of them, but the other one that he currently has on his rear hub is still going strong, and it's mostly thanks to the long bolts. So if we screw the bolts in, you can actually see where the thread stops. Right, so there's that much material still left over. So this much bolt still left over, but when I thread this one in, and I will say that I made these holes extra deep for this exact purpose, so you can use extremely long bolts. Whoa, there's something in the hole. Okay, so I cleaned out the threads in this, and I finally got it into where it should be. So what are we going to do? We're going to create one more axle as a spare. We're going to base it off of this design. We're going to make the holes extra deep. We're going to thread them all the way, and we're going to supply very long bolts with them, not the short ones. So I have the material in the lathe, so let's get started. Okay, so one problem I have with the round stock is that it's Soviet made, so it's very, very old, but also very good, is that it was drawn but not very nicely. So sometimes when I put it into the chuck, it's not running true, it's running out quite a bit because it's slightly oval. So what I try to do is I try to find the spaces where it's running round, and then basically keep them at that point. So this isn't running too badly out. It's actually pretty good. So let's face it first. Yeah, and as you can see, this is what I mean by running out quite a bit. But it's not that big of an issue right now. So if I look at the other the other axle, this area this actually should be 1 millimeter shorter. So right now it's almost 17. So we can actually make it 15, such as this. Now the bearing area should be the same still. This is 9 millimeters, it should be 8. So we have 15 millimeters to take off. Then we have the first step that is 7 millimeters, and the last one which is 8 millimeters long. So if we look at how much material we got here right now, yeah, this should be fine. So let me mark it. First it's 9 millimeters. Lowbrow marking, as they call it. Okay, so as you can see, there's one mark here. Now the other mark is 15. So let me mark that. Okay, so you should see two distinct marks. So let's, is that right? No, that's not right. First was 7 millimeters, not 9. So we have 3 marks, 2 of which we can use. Okay, so let's start turning. First point. Take a look at the dimension. It's 10.4 right now, so I can take half a millimeter off. Okay. Yep, it looks good. Okay, so we have this side done. Now I'm going to do the bearing support surface. Okay, measure this. Okay, so we're at 11, 1 more millimeter. So we are at 10.2. I'm gonna take 0.1 millimeters off, and then I'm gonna switch over to the micrometer so I can get a more accurate reading. So it's 10.001 millimeters. So I can probably take off about 5/10 of a 5/100 of a millimeter, and then I should be right in the area where it should be. So right now I'm between 0 and 5, then it should be exactly 5. Okay. Okay, that should be enough to make it slightly under 10. Yep, it's 0.05 of a millimeter under 10 millimeters. Alright, that's a nice fit. Hardly any, no, there's no rock in it at all. Nice. So this is a very sort of snug slip fit. Okay, looks nice. So, run my nice shaft. So next up is we're gonna chamfer this edge and then we're gonna start the drilling. Nice. So of course we're gonna start it with a center drill because we want a nice centered hole. Okay. Scan. So this is a 5.1 millimeter drill, twist drill, usually used for M6 threads. So 15 millimeters drilled. I want to get to at least 45 before I start threading. Yeah, and as you can see, my motor cut out. We're going to need some lubrication, just 1 second. I'm actually going to chamfer this hole right here. But if I can now find my chamfering tool. Okay. And that's enough. Looks much nicer. Okay, so threading. Or tapping, depending on how you call it. I'm going to do it under power initially, but it's going to cut out quite soon, so. Okay, that went better than expected. Okay. Very nice. Okay, as you can see, we have a nice hole. The bolt went all the way through. It's up to here, so well past the usual breaking point of these axles, which is here. And I'm not going to show you this, but I'm just going to polish this area since it's not going to be seen either way. And then it's off to the customer. Alright, thank you for watching. I hope you found this remotely interesting, and if you did like any of what you saw, you can just leave me a comment and I'll try to answer. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.